This video is part of your Introduction to the Library in your first year studies class. We're going to show you how to do some basic library searching today, which will enable you to complete the pre-work you're doing before your library visit, and also get you started for any research you might need to do for your classes. So we're starting on the library homepage right here, and you can find this linked in your Canvas or your My Lake Forests pages. And so if we want to do some research, we see this nice inviting search bar right here. And if I wanted to start a search for, let's say, climate change, let's enter that. I'm going to open up and we're going to see search results come out for our query. And we can see we're getting a whole list, sort of like we'd expect to see for a search. One thing we might note here, though, is we've gotten about 900,000 results. Now, that doesn't seem weird in a world where Google is giving us a million results every time, but Google does some ranking of those results, whereas intentionally academic search systems do pretty minimal ranking. So the 800,000th result could be as good for us as the first. So we're going to want to narrow that down. Plus, if we're actually writing a paper, all this stuff is really general on climate change. One of the easiest ways to narrow down our search is just to add more terms to it. So let's be more specific. Maybe I want to look at climate change and the effects on agriculture. If we enter that as a search, already we're down to maybe 130,000 results. That's still too many, but we also got much better sort of titles. These are the sort of things that go, oh yeah, these books would help me write a paper on a little bit more of a specific topic. One thing that we can do that we can't do in something like Google is we have these filters along the side. I'm noticing right away that some of these are kind of old. This book's from 2010. And so if we're talking about climate change, I probably want something more recent. If I enter in, let's say 2021, so we're getting stuff from the last 5 years, and apply that as a filter, we've now filtered our search down and lost a bunch of results. We could even go further than that because oftentimes your professors will ask you to find something in a peer-reviewed journal article. We'll talk more about those in class. But I could filter down to a type of thing too. I could choose to get just books. I could choose to get just media. But in this case, I would like to get a peer-reviewed journal article, which is kind of the gold standard. And so if I've done this, we've narrowed our results down even further. And that's good, but I probably still need to be more specific. So if I add another keyword here, let's say maybe I want just to search for agriculture, climate change in the Midwest. When I enter that search in, I've still got less results, which is great, but I noticed something's going wrong. My filters went away. If I go back again, whenever you change your search at the top, we're going to want to click this Remember All Filters. These are locked now. When I add another term to my search, we now get even fewer results, 140. I can definitely scan these titles. And so if I did want to start looking at them, I could, of course, scroll and check it out. But let's say I want to read this one about water availability in agriculture due to climate change. We now are in the catalog entry for this, and we'll notice there's a couple parts to this. Up at the top, I've got the sort of general information. This is what we saw show up in that search, and this is going to give me the info I would need to cite this. I've got the authors, I've got information about the journal. If we scroll all the way down, I've got some more information about some kind of like tags or topics, and I've got a summary of what that article is. That's good for me. But to actually access it, we need to go and click one of the links to view online. Sometimes there'll be one link, sometimes there'll be a couple. In this case, we can just click the top link, and now we have access to that article. We should also always have access to a PDF somewhere. In this case, we can click into it, and I would be able to download this to my laptop or my tablets, and now I've got this article that I can read, I can scan, do what I want with it. The one last step we might want to take here is we'll notice that underneath the sort of information and above our access point are a couple of other links here, and one of these is a citation link. So if I wanted to cite this in MLA, I've got the MLA citation here, or if my instructor is asking for APA, I've got APA right there. I always want to double check this to make sure it's right, but this one looks right to me. I could always check some guides and see if it makes sense. But if I copy that citation, now I've got that for my works cited, and I've got the article that I downloaded that I can read. So we'll talk more about this kind of stuff in class, but for now, you have what you need to do to get started researching. Exciting times.